Welcome. We are from Group 9. We are going to talk about speech acts and events. This is our member. There are Shaivazi, Fernando, and me, Rizkul Braha, Naufal Sandi, and Amadeo Exano. Next. The first, we are going to talk about the speech act itself. To express themselves, people do not only produce utterances containing grammatical structure and words, but also perform actions via those utterances. And then there are two terms that must be understood, which are speech acts and speech events. Speech act is actions performed via utterances. Here are the four examples. Imagine that you are the boss or you are working in a factory or something or office, and your boss deliver this kind of messages like you are fired, you are delicious, you are welcome, you are crazy. Of course, the meaning itself will be different. Like we can assume that you are fired will probably end up in the unemployment, and your delicious will become compliment, and you are welcome is an acknowledgement, and you are crazy is a surprise. Also, there are many other speech acts that we can meet in daily life, like apology, complaint, invitation, promise, and request. Next, please. Like I said before, the second topic we are going to talk is speech event. Speech event is circumstances surrounding the utterances. It determines the interpretation of an utterance as performing a particular speech act. So here definitely the environment uh, affects the meaning of the sentence. For example, in these two examples, this tea is really cold. If it is said on a winter day, we can catch the phrase as a complaint. Meanwhile, if we said the tea is really cold on a summer day, it is actually a price because people need something cool or cold in a hot, dry summer day. And for the next one, we the material will be explained by Amadeo Lexono. Next.
Yeah, thank you, Rizky. So in this part, we are going to talk about speech act. So speech act is performed by producing an utterance that can be divided into three dimensions. The first dimension is locutionary act. Uh, this is the basic act of utterance, and the act is performed by producing a meaningful linguistic expression. Then the second dimension is illocutionary act. The dimension is performed via the communicative force of an utterance. Mostly we don't just produce well from utterances with no purpose. We form an utterance with some kind of function in mind. When performing that, we might utter to make a statement, an offer, an explanation, or for some other communicative purpose, which can be called as the illocutionary force of the utterance. And then the last one is the third dimension, the perlocutionary act. The dimension is performed by creating an utterance with a function that will have an effect. Depending on the circumstances, uttering with assumptions that the hearer will recognize the effect intended is called perlocutionary effect. From this three dimension, the most discussed is the illocutionary force. So, how can speakers assume that the intended illocutionary force will be recognized by the hearer? The question will be elaborated using illocutionary force indicating devices, and velocity conditions, which will be explained by the others.
All right. My name is Serohi Jibzalidaya, and I will explain about IFIDS. It is illocutionary force indicating device. IFID is an expression where there is a slot for a verb that explicitly names the illocutionary act being performed. Such a verb can be called as a performative verb. Like the example, I promise you that, and I warned you that. Promise and warn here is the performative verbs, and if stated, it will be vehicle and IFEDS. Speaker do not always perform the speech act so explicitly, but they sometimes describe the speech act being performed. Next.
Okay, so I will be explaining felicity conditions. Felicity conditions can be described as certain expected or appropriate circumstances in which the performance of a speech act to be recognized as intended. For example, we have a sentence, I sentence you to 6 months in prison. In this sense, if the speaker is not a specific person in a special context, the performance will be infelicious or inappropriate. For example, the speaker we should be saying this sentence should be someone who from uh, someone like judge or something like that. So, in everyday context among ordinary people, there are also preconditions on speech acts. The first one is general conditions. For example, it occurs in a condition when they can understand the language being used and not play acting or being nonsensical. And second, content conditions. It occurs in a condition when both a promise and warning, meaning the content of the utterance, must be about future event. So the next slide will be explained by my friend Noval.
Hello, my name is Naufal, and I'm going to continue Fernando's explanation on conditions. The third condition is known as preparatory condition. So, when I promise to do something, there are two preparatory conditions. First, the event will not happen by itself. Second, the event will have a beneficial impact. And when I utter a warning, the preparatory conditions is going to be, it is not clear that the hearer knows the event will occur, the speaker does think the event will occur, and the event will not have a beneficial effect. And then the fourth one is sincerity condition. And we also, for sincerity condition, it's, well, for all, basically, they have a different condition on every utterances. For example, like for a promise, the speaker, in this sense, in sincerity condition, the speaker genuinely intends to carry out the future action. And whilst for a warning, the speaker genuinely believes that the future event will not have a beneficial effect. And next. And the last one we have essential condition. Uh, by the act of uttering a promise, I thereby intend to create an obligation to carry out the action as promised. Or in other words, the utterance changes my state from non-obligation to obligation. As of a warning, under the essential condition, the utterance changes my state from not informing of about future events to informing. And this essential condition combines with a specification of what must be in the utterance context, the context, and the speaker's intentions in order for a specific speech act to be appropriately performed. So there has to be some method and some specification to in order for this to be appropriate. And then next, and thank you for listening to our presentation. I hope all of you Have a good day and stay healthy and stay at home. Thank you.